Audible? Vishnu, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah.
1 minute, sir. Yeah, live started, sir. You can start. You can go ahead.
So I'll just introduce myself. I am Harinath, working in mechanical department, assistant professor. I am taking care of ED cell also. Um, so we have wanted to start this webinar because of the importance of entrepreneurship. So the growth of Indian economy lies on entrepreneurs. There is a need for developing entrepreneurship among the engineering college students from the day one. In addition to the students exposed to engineering education, they should be equipped with the entrepreneurship skills through promotion schemes and programs like business incubators. The business incubator program should develop young entrepreneurs. This not only offers self-employment but also teaches to earn at the young age. The potential skills of the students should be identified and tap their knowledge and mold them to start their own business after their engineering education. Several entrepreneurship development programs is being organized in our institute to promote the students to actively start their entrepreneurship at very young age. The innovative ideas and technology should be materialized into the business. So, towards this initiative, the small MSME, that is small and micro small entrepreneurs, has emerged as a highly vibrant and dynamic sector of the Indian economy over the last 5 decades. It is not only playing a crucial role in providing employment opportunities at a comparatively low cost than large industries, but also helping the industrialization of rural and backward areas, thereby reducing regional imbalance, assuring more equitable distribution of national income and wealth. So, if you see on Global Innovation Index, India is ranking at 52, while China is far ahead of us and ranks 14. To ensure that innovation and entrepreneurship is emerging as the primary fulcrum of India's higher education system, MHRD Innovation Cell is undertaking multiple initiatives like Smart India Hackathon, Atal Ranking of Institutions Innovation Achievement, that is ARIIA, establishing institutions innovation councils in 1500 plus institutions, and many innovative competitions. So towards this direction, college is also taking multiple initiatives like conducting many webinars, seminars. So towards this objective, we have invited today Dr. Ravi Shankar Sarapelli, who is Director for Center for Innovation and Incubation and Advisor, Center for Career Planning at Gayatri Vidya Parishad College of Engineering. So prior to this, he was working as a with Wipro Technologies for more than 13 years. Over all his 22 years of experience, he is doing consultation, program management, training, and mentoring, and he managed many services like pre-sales, innovation, entrepreneurship development process. So he has also started a program called Inspire to Innovate Storytelling Movement. Goal of this initiative is to inspire students through storytelling and letter writing methods. He is also working as a mentor for Mentor Edge CAA, that is Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship, Ahmedabad, and advisory member to few product startups. So he has started his IT trend and technical article in various national and international peer-reviewed journals and newspapers. He has given guest talks at various national and international forums like FICCI, DST, R&D centers, ISB Innovator Conference. So now I invite Dr. Ravi Sarapalli to take over the session and address our students. Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I think we have a crosstalk.
Madam, the voice was ఎందుకు గ్యాప్ వస్తుంది? ఇది నేను క్లోజ్ చేయనా?
సార్ మీరు మ్యూట్లో పెట్టండి సార్, రాదు, ఎక్కువ రాదు. సార్ మీరు మ్యూట్లో పెట్టుకోండి, ఎక్కువ రాదు.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yeah, visible, sir, visible.
Okay. Yeah, am I audible, sir?
స్టూడెంట్ జాయిన్ కాలేదండి? అచ్చా, ఓకే.
So,
audible, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me for this wonderful session. Thank you for the management and the faculty and to all the students who have joined this webinar today. Just before I start my presentation, let me give a context to the presentation so that you appreciate what exactly we are talking, why we are talking at this juncture, what is that importance which is carrying as of today and so on. As you all understand that India has declared 2010 to 20 as an innovation decade, right? So the good news is even during at the flag end, we could able to recognize the importance of innovation and design thinking as a mainstream education, especially in the engineering curriculum, right? So the concept of the story for this particular thing is we recognize this importance as in the mainstream education during the flag end of the year, flag end of the decade itself. However, nevertheless, it is a good start. Definitely, I think we are at a right edge and a right pace. Probably, I think while we are inviting the next decade, 2021, probably I think we need to take this a little more serious and turn this opportunity to a big value. So let us understand the context of innovation, the context of creativity, context of design thinking, how they are kind of clubbed together and how it is very critical and what are the supporting engines or the props required to carry this inspiration, right? So as you all understand that the best of the human parts is of course is the human brain, which is a very critical and very important product made by God, which is the most intelligent product, which is I think today we are talking about the robots and artificial intelligence, neural networks and machine learning and so on. But I think it all that has been already embedded long back biologically, which is designed for every human being, right? If you look at the constitution of the brain, the right brain is meant for the creative part of the life. I think where you exhibit all your creativity, where you exhibit all your ideas and everything works related to the out of box, which actually works from the right side of the brain. If you look at the left side of the brain is meant for the logical reasoning, which is meant for the kind of process, which is meant for the kind of analytical process, right? I think that is what it is for the right brain. Now, recently, one of the intelligent students like you has actually asked this question. Sir, where does this innovation takes place? Is it in the right brain or in the left brain? So it's a very interesting question. Definitely, I think it is my responsibility to answer. So the true answer is, of course, it is a debatable answer. Maybe some of you might agree, may not agree, but my perspective for this particular question is, it doesn't happen neither in the right side nor in the left side, but it exactly happen in the middle of the ground. So why it is happening in the middle of the brain? Because the innovation requires a lot of creative ideas, out of box thinking, which it takes from the right side of the part, right? So innovation also requires a lot of process steps, lot of analysis, lot of logical reasoning, which comes from the left side. So while the innovation takes place, there will be a constant negotiation between left side and right side, left side and left side. So it will go on for some time, and finally at one point of time, the conclusion takes place, and at a confliction point, I think both parties would actually kind of negotiate and finally come out with a one particular idea which generates some kind of value, which is called innovation. Right. So this is the kind of importance which innovation has, because it is coming from the both angles. So hence the core education, at the same time, the out of box thinking outside the education is equally important to carry forward some of the great innovations. Now, you might actually ask this another question, right? So that's all great. Innovation is very, very important. However, how does the innovation takes place? Innovation also requires some kind of fuel, right? So what is that fuel? What is that fuel, and how that fuel gets supplied to this innovation? So the fuel for innovation is inspiration. That is where I think you can see the movement which we started 10 years back, which is the Inspire to Innovate storytelling movement. In order to take place in innovation, I think we require some kind of fuel which comes from the inspiration. So together, I think it is easy to bring innovation and inspiration together in the form of story. Hence, we thought the storytelling is a powerful technique to create some kind of innovation and to supply some kind of fuel to the innovation. So this is where the inspiration component also very, very important if you want to carry innovation, right? So now this is all theoretical. What I'm sounding is theoretical, and you would not really appreciate, yeah, that's great, right brain, left brain, and it takes in the middle. All that functions everybody knows. However, if I tell you in a realistic manner, probably in the form of some kind of stories, probably many of you would really appreciate. Let me take a couple of stories. I have not started my presentation yet. Before I start my presentation, I would like to set the contest in the form of some stories. And if everybody agrees, I just want to see some kind of comments, and then everybody agrees, then we move to the actual presentation, right? That is the format I think we'll go for the next, whatever the time frame or time period which you permit us. Let me take one story so you appreciate what I'm talking. This is related to one of the greatest inventions of this particular century, right? So as you all know that today the medical diagnostics is very, very critical, and among all the equipments in the diagnostics, probably I think one of the best is the MRI scanner. I think you have seen that the history of the MRI scanner and the kind of functions it is taking and kind of help it is providing in terms of diagnosing some of the dangerous ailments and diseases and so on. So it all works through image processing, as you know that everything about the MRI scanner. However, if someone really gets into the MRI scanner room, and if you see the MRI scanner, the equipment per se, right, I think it is slightly different. The patient has to sleep on the bed, and the bed moves inside the big tunnel, the dark tunnel, and the patient has to stay for half an hour or so, and it creates all kinds of awkward noises. I think it's a very scary experience inside. So it is a dark tunnel, and the lot of sounds takes place and images takes place. I think the magnetic radiation, all that it brings all kinds of images, and it is not a really good experience for the patient. However, patient is having a much bigger problem, hence this is kind of suppressed, and this is kind of not taken into consideration. Having said that, you look at from a kid's point of view, child point of view. If a child has to go through this kind of experience, right? Suppose if the same child of around 5-6 years has to go into the bed, has to sleep on the bed, and the bed goes inside this dark tunnel, and the child has to spend almost 30 minutes or 40 minutes inside the tunnel, and a lot of scary experience, a dark tunnel. If you see from a child's point of view, it is not a great experience. Child would not really kind of appreciate that whole process. So a lot of people cry, some of the people come out, and it's becoming a big issue for the doctors and the diagnostic centers as well. right? So looking into this kind of experience, these MRI scanner inventors have actually gone through a bigger process. They have come from an empathetic point of view, and they thought something we need to do differently especially for the kids' point of view. A child, when it goes inside, he has to feel like, yes, it is a great experience for us. It is not a scary experience for us, right? So what these guys have done is, when the child moves inside the tunnel, they created a VR kind of technique where you would really experience under the water, under the ocean, the living experience, right? I think that is an experience they provided within the tunnel. Of course, we have not seen those MRFs imported to India so far. I think it is getting experimented in multiple places. And if that works out, probably I think they would bring this to the mass scale production and so on. Right, so they would like to bring that kind of oceanic experience, under the water experience to these kids, so that they really relish, and they started experimenting with the various kids. The kids started loving. In fact, they were thinking that it's like a thrilling experience. It's like a kind of a picnic experience. It's like a kind of getting into a exotic experience for them, right? I think they started appreciating that, and they started staying for longer times than they expected, and they were really enjoying that half an hour or so. Even if it is a dark, probably I think they are really appreciating, since it is an adventurous experience for these kids, right? So the MRI scanner, in the beginning, I think he looked at from a functionality point of view, technical point of view, the utility point of view. However, when he looked at from a different angle altogether, the empathy point has actually come out as a much bigger important element than the technology. Then the clubbing both the functionality and the empathetic view together is brought out a wonderful innovation, right? I think as we are going to see such different experiences of various MRI scanners in future, right? So this is where the inspiration component comes in. So innovation is one part, and for the innovation to really flourish, the inspiration is also very, very critical. If the inspiration is completely missed out, probably the innovation becomes a bare functionality, and it would not really be appreciated by the larger party, the larger audience, right? So this is where the inspiration is very, very critical, and hence you all require that kind of inspiration in order to really flourish, in order to do something really great, in order to create some kind of great ideas, and those ideas convert into values, and those ideas convert into wonderful innovations and so on, right? So just look at why this empathy or the inspiration is highly critical in terms of making a revenue as well. Let me share another example so that it also generates a lot of revenue, right? When you club inspiration to an innovation. Long time back, I think I am not sure about the name of the company, but there is a company, detergent making company. So they were kind of developing this. This story I heard from a Mahendra Rice vice president. He was sharing in one of the design thinking case studies, and I really appreciated this particular thought process, which I think the designers have actually gone through. So let me share this story so you appreciate what exactly I'm talking about. Right. So once this detergent company was looking at the process of detergent and why the detergent is taking long time, especially in the rural setting, and why these women have to spend long hours to cleanse these clothes and wash these clothes and so on. So then they thought, they did a lot of research, a lot of chemical engineering research went through this whole process. And finally, they found that this certain components, if you can alter it, probably the time takes for the soaking and for the detergent to really work on can be made it half. This is what I think they thought. They did a wonderful research and they came out with their wonderful product, detergent product, and they launched into the market. So after launching, especially for the rural setting, then they were they're kind of very bullish in terms of getting the revenues, getting the brand value and so on. Then for 10 days, the sales went up to the peak and they were very happy and so on. After some time, they realized that the sales started declining, right? Some of the repeat customers are actually coming out of the buying process and so on. It is a big blow to this company, detergent makers. Then they realized something went wrong. Then They employed some of the best students like you who are really design thinkers. They are not engineers, right? So engineering plus the inspiration is called design thinking, right? So they employed some of these design thinkers to the field. Then they asked these field members to understand where exactly it is going wrong. Then these design thinkers were closely observing. See the power of observation, how it is important. So to power of observation is also requires some kind of inspiration, right? So when they were closely observing these women in the rural setting, when these women assemble at a one well or at a near pond side, and they take all their buckets and they soak these clothes in the buckets for half an hour, and during the soaking process they chit chat for some time. They talk about politics, they talk about neighborhood, they talk about everything, right? So then they were, during that time, it is a pleasure time for all of them. Culturally, I think they want to mingle together. And after some time, after half an hour or so, once these clothes are soaked, then they remove out and they wash it and then go off. They disperse. This is the process. Then they observed that this particular time, which is given for talking and so on, the chit chat and so on, it has been shelved to half, right? Because detergent is working very powerfully, right? So then these people were unable to spend a good time with their neighborhood. That is when they thought, I think this detergent is not good for us, and it is killing our valuable cultural time and the chit chat time. Hence, let's go back to our old detergents. So this kind of a process went completely different way altogether. And this company realized the importance of cultural elements in while you are making the product. See the kind of inspiration required in order to develop a successful product in the market, right? So every element, I think you see, don't look at from a functionality side, don't look at from a productivity side, don't look at from a the kind of domain side, don't look at from a value side, don't look at from a only from a political side, don't look at from a environmental side, don't look at from a legal side, don't look at from only from technology side, don't look at from a cultural side, right? I think if you see, every element is equally important while you are thinking of a certain idea to convert into an innovation. So this is where I think inspiration is highly critical. This is where we thought something we need to do to these young kids like you and chaps who are really going to do something to the world. This is when we started Inspire to Innovate storytelling movement 10 years back. And what we are doing is every day we are creating a story. The story embeds inspiration, small inspiration component, and a little one idea, and then analysis around the idea, and not making a huge story. It is just a 4 paragraph story, and sending it to all students of all engineering colleges, I think like you, and these students are actually reading them and again send back to some ideas, and we are going back. And so this kind of process is going on. So why this storytelling is helping us? Because if you make it little dramatic, this whole process, probably I think the inspiration component is doubling. So then we thought, I think more than education, people need, engineers need an inspiration. And this is when we started this whole process. Out of 100 people, I'm sure only 2 or 3 will really flourish in innovation and so on. Rest of the people will really appreciate, but still that is okay. Because companies need entrepreneurs. Not all the time entrepreneurs are required. So if you look at the jobs, right, I think we have innovator, inventor, entrepreneur, entrepreneur, right, and employee. So innovator means someone creates a value out of invention, right? Inventor means something very breakthrough, right? So entrepreneur means one who makes business out of it. Entrepreneur means he works for a company, but he feels like he's an entrepreneur of that company. So though he's an employee of a company, but he doesn't feel like an employee. The employee is one who thinks that, okay, he's giving money, I'm doing his job, that's it. Beyond that, there is no more. So there are only 5 jobs in the world: inventor, innovator, entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneur, and then employee. 4 jobs are permanent, and the 5th job, employee, is the temporary one. Every 3 years you need to change if you become an employee. But if you become an entrepreneur or entrepreneur, your job is permanent, right? So with this great inspiration and with this great thought, I'm sure, I think if you permit me, I would go to my next slide. I just want to see some YouTube comments at this stage. If you are really, we can go further. Probably, I think I would take it to the next slide. Is it fine to everyone? Guys? Guys, is it fine? Shall we go? Yeah, okay. I got a permission from one of the students. Yes, okay. That's great. Thank you so much. So let's move on to our next slide. I'm sure I think everybody would love to hear this slide because this is one of the students like you have done a wonderful innovation in the recent times, right? So this is the real story by a person named Kartikeya Mangalam, right? He is the final year student of IIT Kanpur. I think a few months back, this boy has actually given the story in one of his blogs. So I'm just narrating the story, what exactly happened to Kartikeya Mangalam and how he could able to participate, how his engineering knowledge actually helped him to really carve out a wonderful innovation, right? So it is not a great breakthrough innovation, but something very presence of mind, how this engineer could able to do a magical thing for a need of hour, right? So Kartikeya Mangalam, while he was in final year BTech in IIT Kanpur, he was studying a EEE, right? I think he got an internship in Geneva. So this boy completed the internship in Geneva and he is returning back to New Delhi in a flight which is traversing via Geneva to Russia to New Delhi. This is the flight journey which he was done. So this boy was sitting in a last row of this flight. Then 2 rows before, there was a passenger sitting. And after some time, after 1 hour of the flight, I think this passenger was shivering and a lot of sweating was coming out. So even the foam is also coming out from mouth and so on. This was a kind of little different situation for the boy who was observing. Immediately, flight attendant came to the passenger and found out that his sugar levels were coming down. He is a type 1 diabetic and he requires some kind of insulin.
Sir, Ravi sir, sorry to interrupt you. Sir, if you
yes, sir, please
play the slideshow, the screen will be big, sir. Will be clear.
Okay, great. Yeah. Sure, sir. Yeah, I'm just trying. Yeah, is it clear, sir?
No.
Sir, is it fine?
It is very clear, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, sure. So this flight attendant came near to that passenger and they found out that this passenger is actually going through a diabetic, he's a type 1 diabetic and he requires insulin. Unfortunately, the passenger is supposed to carry this diabetic machine, right? I think it supplies insulin constantly and he forgot that diabetic machine while he was going through the security check in the airport. However, he is carrying some kind of insulin cartridge and which he doesn't have a syringe to fit in so that he can inject the insulin. This is the problem this man is facing. Immediately, flight attendant came and she said, is there any doctor inside this flight? Then there is a Russian doctor. He doesn't know English, but he understood the problem. And he is also, by the way, he is also a diabetic person. So he attended this man. And he was trying to inject his own insulin. Then this man said, no, I require only my insulin to be injected because mine is slightly different. If it goes beyond a certain point, it actually a problem for me. Then the doctor is having another cartridge and he's another insulin syringe. And this man cartridge, he's trying to fit into his syringe and trying to push it, but it is not pushing. He was struggling and he is also sweating because he has to survive. He has to be attended immediately. Otherwise, the flight pilot was almost thinking that to land this flight near Afghanistan or some other place and make a medical emergency and take him to doctor and so on. This man was trying to do something, but is not working out. This boy, final year boy, electrical engineering boy, he's not a doctor. He is not already working for a medical device company. He is not a biomedical engineer, but he was an electrical engineer. He is having close observation. This boy immediately went to the doctor and said, sir, can I help you? The doctor said, yeah, you are welcome because I need some assistance at this point of time. Then the boy said, why don't you give me the cartridge? I need to see that. Then doctor gave that cartridge to him. And immediately, this boy went to a pilot's cabin space and asked for a Wi-Fi Google. Right? I think only pilot will have that kind of facility inside the pilot cabin. And he immediately opened the Google and typed this particular position of this particular design of this particular cartridge, and immediately he could able to design of cartridge small spring inside, which it is lacking in this particular syringe, right? So then he found that I think that spring is being embedded inside this. Probably I think things will work normal, and immediately he called all the passengers, bring your ball pens, right? I think bring me all your ball pens with the spring. Then he could able to collect around 30 to 40 pens, and he removed all of them and plugged out all the refills and so on. He could bring around 20 to 30 springs of various nature. Then he collected all of them and he sorted all of them, and he ensured that one spring actually fits into this cartridge, right? So immediately he inserted it and tried that pressing and so on. It worked very well, and immediately gave to doctor. Doctor could able to inject the insulin inside, and half an hour he could able to come back to the normal, and his thing was down and he was okay, and he slept for some time. And after 7 or 8 hours, it landed into New Delhi airport. Then the passenger could able to walk, and he came out and he asked, "Who is that boy?" to me. Then this boy came. Then the passenger said, "You saved my life. Are you a doctor?" No, I am a final year engineering student, and I could able to just observe this. How to able to do it? While I was studying first year of my engineering, I learned this the engineering drawing subject. I used to love that subject a lot. I love designs, so I could able to closely observe what exactly is lacking in this particular syringe, and I could able to insert. That's all. I have done my engineering job. I have not done my medical job. Then the man said, "I have a huge restaurant in my Switzerland. It's a very big restaurant, and any point of time you come to Switzerland, and I will give the free party and so on." So we are kind of you are my life savior, right? Sometimes see the kind of inquisitiveness, see the kind of inspiration, see the kind of the ideology, the thought process, even a close observation, power of observation is very, very critical for engineers like you. Probably I think if that is there, probably you could actually become a great doctor like what Mr. Karthikeyan Mangalam has become a doctor on that day, right? So probably I think if really inspired, I'll just move on into my storytelling and see why this subject of innovation or this particular subject of design thinking or the kind of the process while you are taking up the final project. So why you need to be little different than last so many decades of engineers which we are able to produce, right? So you need to be little different than those engineers. Why? Because no more the theoretical ground really works in the engineering contest, right? So let me tell a story so that you appreciate what I'm talking. The theoretical thinking which I'm bringing can be really appreciated if you hear this story well. Once there was a boy. He is an aircraft cleaner. He is not an engineer. He is not even a diploma guy. He is an aircraft cleaner. He used to clean these aircrafts inside the aircrafts, and that was his job. One day, while he was cleaning the aircraft inside the craft, and on the panel, HMA panel, he could see that a book lying there. It's a colorful book. Then, with a lot of curiosity, he brought the book to his hands and he looked at the title of the book. The title of the book says, "This is the step-by-step approach to run an aircraft." This is the title, exactly quote to quote. This is the title which was written. Then a lot of curiosity he developed and he thought something different. Oh my God, what is this? This is a step-by-step approach to run an aircraft. Then with that same interest, he opened the first page. On the first page, he could able to see that if you want to start the aircraft, if you want to start the engine, press the green button, press the yellow button on the right side of the panel, right? So without thinking much, with a lot of curiosity, with a lot of happiness, he just pressed it without thinking much. Immediately, sound was roaring, and he could able to see peeping into the window panels, and you could see that big wings, right? I think within that there are big fans embedded inside, and they are rotating with high RPMs. I think it was kind of very different experience altogether. This boy was really excited. This boy was in a very bullish mood at that point of time. Then he thought, okay, I think I could able to start. That's all. That is simple. This aircraft starting. Oh, I thought it requires a lot of engineering knowledge. Let me open my next page. What it says. He opened the next page, and he could able to see that if you want to run the aircraft on the runway, you need to press the blue button next to that yellow button. So this boy was seriously excited this time. Oh, I could, as simple as that, I think maybe I can also run this aircraft. Then without thinking much, he pressed that blue button. Then the aircraft started moving on the runway. It was going, almost the speed getting increased. And it is almost 30 kilometers per hour, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It was going on. So this boy's excitement was like going up and up. It is skying. Then he thought something I could able to achieve today. Let me go, let me enjoy. I don't care about the rest of the world. Then without thinking much, he opened, and he could able to see the dead end of that runway. He's almost close to the dead end. Then immediately without thinking much, he opened the next page. On the third page, it is written that if you want to fly the aircraft in the air, you need to press the green button, right? Press the green button next to this blue button. Then without thinking much, he just pressed it. Immediately the aircraft, the angle the inclination is kind of changing like this. It was almost 30, 40 and it was moving up. And it was going on and on and on. It was almost like about 2000 feet sea level. And it was a kind of different experience. He could able to see the skies, the blue skies. Underneath there is a blue ocean. Right? It was an exotic experience this boy was going through that point of time. It was going on, almost 1 hour, 1.5 hours over. And this boy was, that's all is the running an aircraft. I can do it. Yeah, I learned everything through my book. Maybe I think it's a boring now. Let me go back home and I want to eat my breakfast. Let me go back home and done. I'm a pilot from today onwards. Then this boy, almost assuming that the next phase would actually teach him how to land this aircraft back to the runway. And with that same expectation assumption, he just opened the next phase. It was a shocking experience to this boy. This boy was sweating, shivering, bewildering. Oh my God, what's happening? He lost the entire, he can't even see. The statement written is, if you want to fly down the aircraft back to the airport or to the runway, you need to refer to the volume 2 of this book. Volume 1 is closed. It is the kind of a different experience. This boy was searching all the cabins inside the pilot cabin, and he was going here and there and searching for that volume 2, but he could not able to find the volume 2. Then he thought something I'm lost. He was crying. But as you know that after some time, fuel got exhausted, and you could see in the picture, it was plunged deep into the deep ocean, and the rest is history. Right, my dear boys and girls, I think you are very energetic and very important students of this great engineering college. I'm sure you are all coming with the great expectations. Most of the times, engineering education is going through this volume 1 only, right? Often we are missing out the volume 2. The volume 2 is what I think we are talking about innovation. The volume 2 is what we are talking about inspiration. Unless the volume 2 is embedded inside this volume 1, probably would not make advancement in our country, to yourself, to the family, and so on, right? So we all need embedded practical exposure, the empathetic exposure to the engineering education. Then only it is going to be called as a real engineering, the next decade engineering. That is when engineering institutions, also the IICT and so on, realize that design thinking is that important to embed in the engineering curriculum. They started on this year. I'm sure, I think whichever year you are all in, I think you all need to really appreciate that design thinking to your ideology and so on, and bring one of the best innovations possible. Your survival rate as an entrepreneur, doesn't matter, as an innovator or inventor, right? But not as an employee. Don't limit yourself to an employee. You need to think beyond to one of these 4 routes. Then only I think you can survive. You can think of a 10 years career. Otherwise, every 2 years, you have to change, reskill yourself, and you need to struggle hard. After 10 years, 15 years, when your families have been grown up and so on, it is going to be really hard, right? I'm sure you would agree with me that you need to also embed volume 2 as part of volume 1 from now onwards, and ensure that you participate into this Inspire to Innovate storytelling movement. Let's move on. Why you need to be really inspired? Why you need to really take up this kind of vision? Why we all need to really think of something different altogether when we see all these great people. These are the warriors of the world. Whenever you look at these soldiers who are standing at a minus 30 degrees, minus 40 degrees. Yesterday, one of my friends who is working for as a doctor in Saitan, and she was telling me it is almost 27, minus 27 it seems. Right? I think she just moved from this part of the world to that part of the world, and she is into the high-end insulated environment. Still, she is feeling. When you look at some of these soldiers, they are directly exposed to these extreme weather conditions, and they are guarding off. They are kind of bringing the safeguarding our country, right? I think whenever you hear these stories of these great soldiers of Saichen, you need to be really inspired, right? Look at some of these Swachh Karmics and some of these people who are really going through a very awesome process. I think they need to really work hard. I think words are not coming to describe some of their work and so on, but they really work hard to clean the world, right? I think they are the heroes. They are the kind of inspirers for some of you. While sitting in these AC rooms and while sitting in the 4 cabins and so on, probably I think we would not be knowing what's happening in the world. But whenever you hear these stories, probably I think you need to really appreciate. See some of these coal miners. We all enjoying today in this great electricity, and the light is coming up, and we are really enjoying these lights. But behind this light, there is a dark. The dark is nothing but the coal mine. Some of these coal miners have to stay for months together inside these dark conditions, and they have to mine these coals, and they have to bring it to this machinery and so on, and bring some kind of generate some kind of energy and so on, and bring light to all of us. So we need to really appreciate these people who are working in the dark to bring light in to all of us. Look at some of these air rescue teams. They have to really sacrifice their lives to save these animals and to save the people who are caught in these fires or caught in some kind of pandemics and so on. So these are the people who are kind of risking their lives to save some people. We need to really inspire. Some of these honey collectors, whenever they bring this honey, right, they have to really risk their life. The risk is humongous, but they bring you delicious, nutritious honey, right? So you really share the honey which you are eating, right? I think you really enjoy that honey. However, behind this honey, there is something very heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, some kind of statistics around, right? I think these people have to work hard to bring one pot of honey. I think they need to really risk their lives. Look at some of these forest guards. They have to participate into these forest beats, and they should not carry any armor. They cannot carry any weapon, but still alone. Most of the times they alone in the dark. They have to go around and ensure that the natural flora and fauna and the animals and the trees and so on has to be protected. They risk their lives and they try to protect the nature for all of us. So whenever you hear these stories, you feel like, yes, I think these people are doing amazing job. Beyond all of them, you need to really appreciate one girl who is currently studying third year BDS. Her name is Sunita. You need to really appreciate. I think you might have seen this in a recent WhatsApp and so on. She is a tribal girl studying in Maharashtra, and as part of this online education, she has to stay home. And the tribal village, the hamlet where she studies, where she stays, doesn't have internet connection. So her brothers constructed a small hut on top of the hillock, and this girl stays there from morning 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and to get that signals. Today we are all enjoying the Google Meet, sitting in the very cushy rooms, and we are happy to discuss over the phone, over the internet and so on. But these girls are really struggling hard to get that Wi-Fi and ensure that her education is not stopped. That is the kind of determination. Above all of them, this lady has to be appreciated because the commitment and determination to go on beyond the current levels and ensure that their family is really uplifted. So these are the people we need to be really inspired whenever we do something, right? I think then that inspiration component doubles. this point of time, I just want to ask a small question. I just want to check whether everyone is with me or not. Just a small poll. Right? I think in 1950, a researcher named Fully Body, he did a wonderful research. I think it's not a small research. He has done a wonderful research. I think it's almost like 20 years of research he has done. He did a survey on 1,500 people, and he asked each and everyone on a phone call and said, "What is your life ambition? What is your life goal?" And he collected various answers from these 1,500 people. Go for it. I think we want to go for money, earn money. I think, or some people said we want to do something else, right? So then, after collecting all the statements, he bifurcated all the statements into two groups. Group one are going to work for a money. Group two are going to work for their passion. This is how he divided into entire group. Then he realized that 100 and out of 1,500, he again interviewed all these 1,500 after 20 years. And he realized that out of 1,500, he could be able to find out 101 millionaires out of these 1,500 people. And he understood that some of them are belonging to group one, which is 83%, and some of them are belonging to group two, which is 17%, right? I think that is how the group is divided. So out of 1,500, 83% are working for a money, and 17% are working for their passion. And he could able to find out 101 millionaires out of these 1,500. Now, all the students and probably I think some of the enthusiastic faculty can also answer this. Can you guess how many millionaires are from the 83% group and how many millionaires are from the 17% group? How many millionaires are for the running after money and how many are running after the passion? You need to respond in your YouTube channel, and I just want to see a few responses, and then I think we can go for. Some of them are saying audio is not clear. Am I audible, sir? Is it okay?
Yes, okay, sir. Yeah. Yes, it is okay, sir.
So who has heard this? So students, can you just answer this? How many are really working for group one? I think more from group. I need exact number. How many from group one and how many from 83% and how many from 17%? I need exact number. Isha is saying from 17%, but I just need no millionaires from 83%. Okay. Anish is saying no millionaires from 83%. Okay. Naveen, more from group two. I need exact number, Naveen. Yeah. So Vijay Kumar is saying need number. Out of 101, how many from group 1 and how many from group 2? Exact number. From the group 1, Ramya is saying 80 are from the group. Okay. Vaishalini is saying, and Khyati is saying group 2, more from, okay. Raghunath is saying more from 70%. Yeah, good. Okay. So now, probably I think you all understood the essence. The answer is 100 people from 17% and one from 83%. Right? So that is whenever. Sir, some background noise is coming. Can you just? Yeah. So whenever we all see you are going after money would not do you, right? Lakshmi and Saraswati work very closely. They are, of course, at the end of the day, they are all family members. Whenever you feel, yes, I do something for this world, money is a byproduct. But if you are behind them or if you are after the money, probably that money would not come to you, right? So just the true answer is if you work for passion, if you work for your inspiration, probably I think money is a byproduct which has been proven as per the research. Now, you all know that the decision is in your hand. I think I'll share a story here again. So most of the thoughts which I'm going to share, the innovations which I'm going to share going further, all will be embedded with the small stories so that the concept is really injected into the hearts and mind, right? I think sometimes, I think in the beginning I told you, the real idea from the brain. The analysis comes from the left side of the brain. The idea comes from the right side of the brain. The inspiration comes from the heart of the brain, right? So when the left side and the right side and the heart in the triangle work together, then only the real inspiration, the real product, the innovative product, the sustainable product comes out of the market, right? Or the service which you are going to render. Otherwise, if these are only worked at this level and the heart is not connected, probably I think this would not work, and you really appreciate kind of thought process. Let me tell another story so that you appreciate why it is in your hands, nobody else can do. Your engineering college cannot do, your professors cannot do anything, or the people cannot do anything, or your parents cannot do anything, your siblings cannot do anything, your neighbors cannot do anything, your friends cannot do your thing, but you have to do yourself. Just to embed this thought in, let me share a story. Once there was a village. It is one of the famous villages, and in this particular village there used to be one saintly person. He used to be a very saintly man, and he used to give guidance to all the villagers. In that village there used to be two mischief boys. I think these boys were very naughty boys. These two boys were always thinking negative this person, and they thought we will fool this man for some time so that people cannot believe him. Then with that intention, he thought, let's see, we'll ask some questions and we'll ensure that this man fails in his guidance, and we'll prove that this person is not that saintly, right? So with that bad intention, these guys went into the saintly person's ashram, right? And he asked, these boys kept a small pigeon like this into one of the boys' hands and asked the saintly person, sir, can you tell me the pigeon inside? They covered the entire pigeon with his two hands. Can you tell me the pigeon inside? Is it dead or alive? Right? And the saintly person looked at the eyes of these two boys, looked at the cheeks of these boys and the chin of these boys, and he understood that these guys, he could able to see the wrinkles here. He understood that these guys have come to fool me. These guys want to really pull my leg, right? I think that is what is an ill intention they came with. However, he did not say that. He said, my dear sons, you are really, really intelligent boys, right? You know, you are great. You have great thoughts and you have a very wonderful idea. I'm sure, I think if you put them into the right process, you are going to be really, really great. If I tell, listen to this, if the pigeon inside the hands is alive, immediately you crush the hands to the closer and ensure that you show me the pigeon, the dead pigeon, ensure that it is dead. If I tell the pigeon inside is alive, right? Inside a pigeon is dead, then immediately you open the hands and ensure that pigeon flies, right? So both, whether it is this side or that side, is in your hands. So decision is in your hands, right? So the essence of the story is, anything we take, any decision we take in our life has to be within our hands, and it is in your hands. I think nobody else can really push us. Nobody else can really move out of our sphere, right? I think you are in your own sphere, your own circumstances. You can create your own circumstances. Ensure that whether it's right or wrong is in your hands, as this pigeon talks, as this experiment talks about. Now, some of the students, I think I brought this particular slide, I think at this point, because in one of the sessions, somebody said, yeah, you are talking very great, sir, very nice. These stories are really inspiring. These stories are really great. Okay, we understood. However, our past, we are not filth-rich community. We are not from that kind of background. We are struggling. We are really struggling in our lives, day-to-day life itself. It is not applicable to us. This is what is being told, right? So then I was doing a little research, and what could be a best story to fit into this contest, right? And I thought through, finally, I thought this particular story would really inspire some of these engineers, because this is the story has some engineering component as well. Let me share this story so that you appreciate. Any background, it doesn't matter, but ultimately it is all your determination, it is all your commitment, it is all your inspiration matters, right? So as you all know that Thomas Alva Edison, right? Like Edison, I think he is one of the best inventors ever produced by this world, right? You know that he one of the greatest inventors of these centuries together, right? So he filed more than 1,000 plus patents and he's all-time inventor and so on. So Edison is the best in terms of inventions, patents, and kind of enterprises and innovations and so on. So, however, you look at Edison's life itself. You look at little back, go back to the Edison's previous background and before he came to the limelight, what happened to the Edison's history you look at. So probably I think it would set this context. In 1940s, I guess, I don't remember exact year, 1944 or 1945, I'm not sure exactly. So during that time, Edison's Menlo Park factory was completely burnt off. It came to the ashes completely. All the R&D, all the investments, all the products, everything, whatever was there, it burnt into ashes. That night, Edison came to the home and wife was there, son was there, and wife started crying, weeping. Oh my God, how do we live now? All of our investments, all our R&D, all our products, all our ideas are burnt into ashes. Crying and the home is completely and things are not positive and in spite of Edison, not a single word left. Next day morning, Edison woke up and immediately he called the wife and asked, shall we go for a morning walk, right? So then they're supposed to go in one direction in the morning walk, but Edison took her to the place where the ashes are there, the factory, and he took to the place and again showed the ashes. Looking into ashes again, wife started crying and oh, how do we live now? Went to vain. Then Edison only said one single statement. Hear this statement very closely. My dear wife, I love you. Right? Yes, I understand that all like this. All my mistakes are burnt into ashes. Let me start fresh. What did he say? All my mistakes burnt into ashes. Let me start fresh. This is the exact statement he told. It's a very full statement, right? So all our mistakes are burnt into ashes. Let me start fresh. Means he started from scratch. You would be surprised to hear this. After this incident, Edison could able to invent the bulb which you are all enjoying. The light which you are enjoying today is invention after this incident. Had Edison also was weeping and crying and he stopped researching and he closed all these ventures and so on. He started working for someone else. Probably you would have not seen the light of the day today. Probably you would not have seen which he could able to invent today. Probably you would have not seen that the Bell Laboratories which he could able to bring one of the world's best company out today, right? So sometimes mistakes happen. Erase all your mistakes. You see the kind of the slate that boy was writing. You are never too young to dream big. You need to really dream big, and you need to erase your past. Whatever is the past, the dark past you had, forget, erase it now. From today onwards, let's start a fresh game. Probably I think this is how, if you can bring your perspective to the game, probably who knows, I'm not saying like in Edison, but at least to the extent. To your surprise, one Indian, Sandhu, is Sandhu Singh, I guess. I don't remember his last name, but his name is Sandhu. He works for Micron, or it's a semiconductor company. He has beaten Edison's record now. He is more than Edison, and the number of patents he's holding is more than Edison's now. Sometimes some of these inventions and all that with all comes from the determination. Probably I think who knows, some of you would actually really bring some of the best innovations and inventions possible and erase your past, erase your dark past and move with that inspiration. Now, then again a question comes up. Yes, sir, I'm fine. I erase my past, and what is the guarantee that I would be really successful? And what do you mean by the success? Is the success means if I generate $1 billion tomorrow is going to be a success? No, absolutely no. Is a success is if I could able to change the lives of 1 million people? Is that a success? No, absolutely no. Is the success means I could able to bring a social impact to the no, absolutely no. If you say that is a success, more than you, there are 1,000 people, right? So then this question came up to a boy like you, an interesting boy like you, and he asked this question to the one of the famous philosophers, Socrates. He asked that person, sir, what do you mean by success? Can you define a definition of the success? Then Socrates told, my dear boy, to answer this question, you need to come to the riverside tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Right? What did he say? You come to riverside at a morning 7 a.m. tomorrow. Exactly at 7 a.m., this boy came to the riverside, to the place where Socrates told. And Socrates also exactly came at 7 o'clock, and he held that boy to the shoulders, and they were walking towards the river. And boy was asking, sir, yesterday I asked this question, what do you mean by success? Socrates was very calm and composed. He did not speak one single word, and he was moving inside the water. The boy was shivering. Sir, I asked a simple question. What do you mean by success? This man was again tight-lipped, and he was going inside. It's almost knee-deep, right? The boy was saying, no, I asked the wrong question. Maybe he's taking me inside the water. It is scaring me. Sir, let me go. I'm not going to ask you any question. I don't need any answer. What do you mean by success and all that? Not required. This boy, Socrates, is also very strong. He was taking the boy to the shoulders and taking hard into the water. They were going inside, deep into that, almost neck deep now. The boy was thinking, yes, I'm done. I think the meaning of the success, the definition of the success is maybe I will be dumped into this. However, Socrates was still strong and taking him inside. After some time, when he was almost the neck deep, he took to the boy to the head and that head, and he dunked deep into the water, and again pulled him back. And he asked, my dear son, what did you think inside the water? The boy said, oh my God, what I was thinking, I was not thinking anything. I'm only thinking about air inside, because I need air. I need to breathe. I need to breathe now. And he's breathing now. He's breathing now. Then after a few minutes, again, Socrates dunked deep into the water again, and he pulled him back. Then again, he asked the same question. Boy, what you were thinking inside the water? What I'm thinking, sir? I'm just thinking about air inside. I'm only thinking about air. I need to breathe. I need to breathe. Then Socrates did the same thing again. Again, he asked the same question. Then again, boy responded same. After some time, Socrates said, my dear son, what you were thinking inside? I was just thinking about air inside. I just need to breathe. Then what did you think outside? He was thinking about air outside. He was thinking about air outside, and inside he was only working for air inside. Look at the kind of statement. It's a philosophical statement, but a lot of depth in this. He was thinking about air outside, right? When he is inside, he was trying to capture the air inside. Then he said, yeah, you understood that thought? You understood the air outside, air inside? So that is the definition of success, he said. This I did not understand, sir. It is purely philosophical. Saying air outside, inside, air outside, I did not understand. It's purely philosophical. Then the Socrates said to the boy, my dear son, you think of something and act immediately. You think of something, act immediately. You think of something, act immediately. Then you are already successful. So when you prepare consciously for your JEE mains or JEE advanced, and even if you get result, regardless of results, whether you won or not, doesn't matter. You are already successful, right? So probably I think you understood. When you think of something, immediately, if that is the positive thinking, and act immediately, regardless of results, is what is the definition of success. So hence, when you are in this pursuit of innovation, or when you are looking for an idea to promote and so on, probably if you do judiciously and ensure that you really onto the thought for some time, probably you are more successful than any other person who has won some kind of a reward or award or revenue or whatever. Doesn't matter whether all of them come or not, you are already successful. So then, if that is the kind of success, let me share a few stories of successful people who have actually taken this passion, who have taken inspiration to the heart, who quit their jobs, one of the best jobs in the world, however, still successful in their pursuit and still they're counting on. He is Mr. Anshu Gupta, and most of you must be knowing about him. He is the Raman Magsaysay awardee, Nobel Prize, Asia's Nobel Prize winner of 2015. He is one of my friends, and he started a wonderful organization named Gunj, right? I need to tell this story, quote to quote this story, and some of them I'm just trying to change a little bit so that there is some kind of story format to get you inspired. But the essence of the story is same. I think with that inspiration, he started this, and he could able to create a huge impact to the society, especially in the North Delhi and Nepal and in these regions, wherever there are floods. Anshu Gupta has been standing there, and now he's into bamboo bridges. Some of you are mechanical engineers. I think probably you can work with him. He's constructing bamboo bridges in some of these Northeast and Nepal, Himalayan regions, and so on. Right. So let me share the story so that you understand what exactly Anshu was inspired for. One day, Anshu, I think, as you know, he was working. He studied in IIC, and he was working for one of the biggest multinational companies those days. I'm talking about 20 years back, 15, 20 years back. And he was earning a huge amount. I think is in the current salaries, probably I think he must be more than 40 lakhs per year and so on. That's the kind of range he was with. When this man was walking on the old Delhi road, one day he could able to see that there is a rickshaw passing by. Immediately, he looked at back of the rickshaw. It is written that we collected dead bodies. It's a very interesting statement, right? Generally, you won't see a rickshaw. On the back of the rickshaw, we collect dead bodies. Nobody would see that. Then Anshu developed a lot of curiosity, and he called that rickshaw puller. My dear sir, what do you mean by collecting these dead bodies? Then the rickshaw puller says, yes, sir. It's my passion, it's my hobby, it's my livelihood. I collect the dead bodies of these orphans and the leftover and abandoned people in these areas. And probably I think I take them to burial ground and cremate them and so on. Anshu developed some more interest and curiosity and asked how many you collect every day. And the rickshaw puller says approximately 7 to 8 per day. Anshu got really surprised. What time your first body comes? Around 6 o'clock in the morning. What time your last body comes? Maybe around in the night, around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Then what do you do with these late hours dead bodies? Then the rickshaw puller says, after 5 o'clock, the burial grounds gets closed. Most of the times, approximately 2 to 3, I would get it after 5 o'clock as well. And I have a small hut in the old Delhi. I keep these bodies there, and I have a small family, and we all have to live together in the family along with these corpses. And this is where I am at. Anshu really shocked to hear this statement and really get inspired and really get emotional. And more than inspired, I think more emotional. And he thought something, I need to do a research in this. And immediately called his manager, sir, can I have a leave for some time? And manager granted for 1 week or 10 days, and he started going along with this man. And surprisingly, he found that many of these bodies are actually found during this season, November, December, January season, where there is huge winter in the North Belt, and the most of these people who are abandoned and orphans and so on, they sleep on outside and they succumb to these hearts of the temperatures and so on. So hence this is where I think the bodies numbers were going up. Then Anshu was doing a lot of research inside, and he found that most of the people who are dying, they are not dying just because not having food and so on, not having a shelter also. They were dying because not having a proper clothing, right? Had you have a good clothing, a covered clothing, probably they would have been survived, right? So Anshu realized that the research in this entire process went up to the level of not having clothes, not other reasons. So he called down to that particular reason and thought, I need to do something with the clothing for these people, right? So then he called his wife and said, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do a social service. Can you work for me? And can you take up the family responsibility? Wife happily accepted that responsibility. He has a kid, he has mother staying with him, and wife was working with a small company because she is a front office manager, and she was earning little amount, but still she was working. And Anshu quit his flashy job, and he started collecting these old clothes from the various people and started distributing these old clothes. And even one day when he was hanging his old clothes on the around near Ames, Delhi, and so on, people were coming and he was asking to take up these clothes for free. One day, one person came, sir, you are giving me free, but I don't want. It is a slap on his face. I don't want your clothes. Though I am a poor, I don't want your clothes. Because you are giving free, my self-esteem is getting affected. Then Anshu got slapped completely. He thought something I am doing wrong. Through charity, I am doing wrong. When I am giving free, people are not accepting. Not everyone is ready to accept even freebies as well, right? So then he thought, I need to convert this this social initiative to a social enterprise and create an impact through that model. Then he hired a few tailors and he teared off all these old clothes and started restitching some of these clothes in a different manner. And he started selling each cloth for 3 rupees, 2 rupees with a different look altogether. Then people mad rush, they were kind of buying these clothes. And people were having 2 rupees, nothing is a problem for them, right? I think they can buy for 4 rupees, 5 rupees. Then a lot of people were enjoying buying and taking it as their product. So self-esteem is kind of managed in this case, right? So immediately this business went very well, and people were more and more people were buying. And he thought, I think this is the way I need to create a social impact, right? So that is when the social entrepreneurship came into the picture, and he created a company called Gunj. And he was now distributing these old clothes to the multiple people and really flourishing in this journey. Casually, I was asking Anshu in one of the conferences a few years back. I met him in Hubballi in the Deshpande Foundation, and I was telling about your story to some of my engineering students, and many of them are really getting inspired whenever they hear about your story. What is the revenue you made so far? Then he was saying, no, there is no revenue in this. It's all funding game, and we are all working for a cause, and this is how the social enterprise is moving. Then casually I was asking, can I assume that it is a kind of 100 crore impact? Then he was laughing, right? So it means that you need to really understand that the impact which you could able to create is humongous. The social impact is more than 100 crores, right? So Gunj is flourishing more and more. When someone going with a small inspiration, see the kind of inspiration which he got in from that particular place, right? I think for a particular instance, from a particular person, and how this Gunj has really became. In 2015, he got a Asia's Nobel Prize just for that small inspiration. So sometimes your inspiration could go to that extent. Probably world would really love you to adore, right? I think that is the kind of inspiration you all need to really require. Let's look at this man. He's also, I think, a famous man, and many of you would be knowing this. He is called a Mountain Man of India, right? I think the story of Dasarath Manji, I'm sure, I think I don't need to tell this story because I think recently a movie has also been created out of this instance. I think Manji died in 2005. So Dasarath Manji, if you hear the kind of inspiration he got, he was staying in a place called Gulmahar near Gaya district of Bihar. And this small village is behind the huge hillock. However, to access the nearby healthcare center or to any other education institution, the people of Gulmahar have to go via all this entire hillock, the hill, and the range, I think almost 50 kilometers around the hill, and reach to the nearest healthcare center, right? So this is the kind of problem this village used to face. One day, Manji's wife was carrying he's a small-scale worker. Both of them are laborers. He was working on that hillock, and wife was bringing some food for him. And while she was climbing, she fell down. At that time, she was pregnant, I believe. So, and immediately he has to carry her to an hospital. And the route which he has to go is 54 kilometers. Because all through the hill, I think around the hill, he has to walk to reach to the other side of the healthcare center. Then during the journey, he could not able to save her, and immediately he relinquished all his possessions, and immediately he has only a few things. One is the chisel, and he has the hammer and the crowbar, and these are the 3 items he is left with. And he started hitting that hill. People thought after wife Rabri Devi, I think this man was really, I think became emotional, and he was hitting this hill. I think he's fighting with the hill. I think maybe may not work for him. People used to laugh. People used to think he's a madman. People used to think, I think some people used to give him a food. Whatever is that, he did not bother at all. He was hitting. He was hitting. It is not just one day. It is not just 2 days. It is not just 1 year. It is not just 10 years. It is not just 20 years. It's almost 22 years he was hitting, and finally created 300 feet long, 30 feet wide road to the other side of the village, where that medical facility is there. Now it is only 5 kilometers walk. The 54 kilometers has been reduced to the 5 kilometers, and Dasarath Manji became a national figure immediately. He's been awarded as the Mountain Man of India, and he's been considered to be one of the famous inspirers of this times. And Manji became a national figure, right? Sometimes inspiration also comes from emotions, right? So some emotions can be converted to a great inspiration and can be worked out for a bigger cause, the social cause. Let's look at another similar cause or similar person who is kind of created an impact. His name is Jadhav, right? I think Jadhav is from Assam, and he's considered as a forest man of India, right? So the Jadhav in 1970s, I think, when Brahmaputra River went into the peak of the flood, and it washed out all this Assam, and most of the natural flora and fauna is completely washed out, and sandbars were created, and all these animals were displaced. The sandbars, I think these snakes were also kind of displaced, and everything went vain. I think completely devastated effect of the after flood, right? I think that was the state. This man, he was a 17 years old boy. He was really became emotional, right? I think if I don't do anything now after this, probably I think my next generation cannot survive, right? I need to really work for this cause. Let me do something. So that is the time Assam government also announced a program for a forestation program, where people have to work voluntarily and do a forestation, and government helps a little bit. So it was there, the program was there for almost 5 years, and Jadhav was happily, emotionally, inspiringly working for this particular cause, and it was going on. After 5 years, the government contract was completely closed, and people dispersed. Then Jadhav did not go at all. He was alone at that point of time. He did not leave the ground. He did not leave the project without government intervention, without anybody's help. He was somehow, with all the whatever the minimal savings he was having, he started planting one by one. So people thought, what could someone can create an impact with one single person? You would be surprised to hear this. He did this plantation for 30 years, not 1 year, 10 years, 15 years. He was continuously doing 30 years planting. You would be surprised. He is now the Padma awardee right now. So you would be surprised to hear this. After 30 years, this one single man planted area became a 1,360 acres of a man-made forest. Now, few rhinos are living there, few elephants are living there. Lot of natural fauna and flora and fauna exists now. It is a huge land. I think 1,360 acres created by one single man. Hence, he is called as a forest man of India. So even a single person can do such a bigger impact. Even a single person can create such a bigger impact to the society, to the nature, to the ecology, to the environment. Right? That is what is being proven by the forest man of India, the Jadhav Payam, right? So you all need to, at this point of time, I just want to check whether you are all with me or not, because I'm continuously talking. Just I'll go through my WhatsApp, this one.
Yes, we are here, sir.
Yeah. So I think lots of voices, voice is breaking, voice is not clear. I think maybe I'm not sure exactly what is the wrong, but is the voice clear, sir, for you?
It is okay, sir. For us,
I think more sounds are coming, sir, like that someone is saying. But anyway, voice is breaking. Okay. Fine. I think let's see. We will see if the recording is also like this. Then I think we will see something later. but I think we'll proceed. Let's move on. When online classes are going to, okay, that is anyway, you can take up that call later. Okay, so let me go with my presentation. The story of Sachin, right? So the story of can someone mute, please? Hello. Can you all be mute, please, sir? Yeah, okay, thank you. So you all need to be really inspired and inspire your fellow friends and inspire other set of people and so on. So when Sachin was, I think, look at Sachin's point of view. When Sachin was making his first debut, right? Sehwag was 10 years old, right? Mr. Boja was 5 years old. Raina was 2 years old. Pujara was 1 year, 9 months, right? Kohli was not born at all. See that when Sachin was playing his first debut, Kohli was not born. Still, I think Sachin was playing with all these wonderful players, right? So then someone asked, what is Sachin playing? Is Sachin playing cricket? In my perspective, in my point of view, Sachin is not playing cricket. Sachin is playing with the commitment. If he was only playing if he has seen this as a cricket game, probably he would have not seen these kind of ages, right? He would have not seen these kind of levels. He was playing with the commitment. He was playing with the determination. Probably that is the kind of dragging him or carried him throughout his career, right? Sometimes the inspiration has to come from your commitment, right? So as you can see in the case of Sachin, there is a person called Hua. She is an orphan and she doesn't have legs and hands completely cut off. She was into the central China and she was having almost 200 orphan kids. She was taking care of it. Though she is an orphan, she doesn't have any legs, no hands, but still this lady could able to manage 130 kids and 24/7 she serves these people, and 360 days she only naps and she never sleeps. That is the kind of commitment she was showing in spite of all the disability she has. This lady could able to manage and help 130 people is what I think you could see. Sometimes this is the kind of commitment levels. Look at some other example, great example. When Bill Gates was saying, I think he was saying, I did not complete my university, right? And many of these friends who are kind of passed out, who are the toppers, are working for Microsoft today, right? So Abraham Lincoln, he was stitching the shoes in the childhood, but today I think you could see that kind of how famous he became. Oberoi was serving and he was working for the hotel chains and so on, and Oberoi hotels you could see now. Rajnikant, I think at the age of 70, I think still he's famous. He was a conductor in a bus. I think you remember that past, how he could able to become so famous. Dhirubhai Ambani, I think as you know that he was working as working for a petrol pump and in the Iman and so on, and finally you could see the kind of billionaire today, right? Sachin, I think he failed 10th class. Today I think everyone adores. I think doesn't matter the education. He has created a history itself, right? Rahman was a dropout and he became one of the best keyboard players and music directors. Right, Shah Rukh Khan, he slept on the benches and in the parks and he borrowed 20 rupees per day, and that was a kind of past. Today, I think he's one of the famous actors, right? So the Messi, I think he used to serve the tea to support his football training. Today, the Messi is one of the gods of the football and so on. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is all about creating yourself. Probably I think you need to at this point of time, you all need to determine, you all need to really take it to the serious. You need to really create yourself. Otherwise, probably things may not work for you. So let's look at some examples. Albert Einstein is an ordinary patent clerk, but became a famous scientist. Abraham Lincoln is a poor postman's son. He became a president of America. Golda Meir is an average school teacher, but became a prime minister of Israel. See the kind of what was the past and what he became. So the differentiation, you could see that. Roosevelt sick and both legs paralyzed, but became a president of America. Homer was blind and became a greatest Greek writer, right? Helen Keller, I think you all must be knowing this story, blind, deaf and dumb, but renowned writer. You could see the contradictory to that what she was. Demosthenes was a nervous stammerer. He himself cannot speak. I cannot continuously speak. He was having a stammering. Right. One day, Demosthenes and all of them were giving a kind of this one, but he was proved himself that one of the best Greek orator. Right. Beethoven, he was a deaf. He never heard his own music, but he gave the best of the music possible to the entire world. Once, I think, in the first performance, when he was giving this, Beatles were actually giving a performance in musical concert. Everybody was standing and clapping, but Beethoven was unable to hear because he could not able to hear the voice because he is deaf. He is just collecting all the stuff and moving away. Then his friends told, see the kind of crowd there. They were all giving a standing ovation and clapping you. So then Beethoven shocked, oh my God, that is the power in my music. Today you see the Beethoven's music is one of the best in the world. Thomas Edison, he's just a matriculate graduate, but became one of the best inventors of all the times. Oberoi, as I told, is a simple clerk, became a chain of hotels. K.K. Patel is an ordinary farmer's son. As you know that today, I think he was actually going on a cycle and selling the Nirma powder door to door. Today is the largest seller of washing powder and is more than 1,200 crores revenue. Nirma University, I think you could see that kind of famous product today, right? One man who was going through a cycle and he became something like big like this. Topi Wala, he was only a matriculate graduate with having only 100 rupees initial investment, right? Then he thought what I could do with 100 rupees. Then he was looking at the people and he thought a lot of times when these girls and ladies, women, right? When in the olden days, they used to put this bindis here, right? I think tilak. So during hot summer, the tilak used to go this side and that side. Then he thought this is an opportunity, right? So then he created a small Singar Bindi kind of brand and he created stickers. You can actually stick it now. I think now many of the girls put it. So it became a huge opportunity, the Singar Bindi. Now you could see that kind of great opportunity, the 5 crore worth of Singar Bindi. Marty Holla, polio stricken, 25 surgeries, but got a 150 plus gold medals and one of the best swimmers and so on. Sharad Kumar Dikshit, 2 heart attacks, crippled the lower side of the body and vocal cords were removed. But as a doctor, though he doesn't have a proper body, he could able to perform 45,000 surgeries free of cost. That is the kind of famous impact he has created. Janaki, both legs polio, famous swimmer and Oxford Book of Records and created a big impact. Look at some other the great examples of Indian contests. Ramanujan, I think, is considered to be one of the finest mathematicians ever world has produced, right? So Ramanujan intermediate marks in 1907. I was looking at in one of the Hindu papers recently. I think this was the kind of marks. Look at English. He got only 38. The minimum pass mark is 70. Sanskrit 34. Mathematics. Though he is a mathematician, out of 150, he got only 85 marks. Physiology and history, I think he did not attend at all. Still, I think we could not able to see his mathematical ability. Hardy has come into picture and he was taken to the England and then I think the rest is history, right? So, however, we could not able to give him a degree, but the whole world thought he is one of the finest mathematicians, the greatest mathematicians, one of the best of the mathematicians which ever produced by this earth, right? So, sometimes marks is not a judgment. Though some of them are actually weak at marks, which they could not able to produce the best results, but in one particular area they could able to flourish, which we have seen in this case. Let's look at a couple of other entrepreneurial examples. So as you know that the overnight concept has actually made one of the biggest impact entrepreneurship. This is a quiz question for many of you. I will give you a story and you need to tell the answer of this particular story in your chat box. Probably listen to me very carefully. Even the sounds are not clear, probably listen to every word so that you can catch some of the important elements. Once Fred Smith was studying in a college like you, I think he was into the final year MBA or so. I'm not sure exactly, but he was into the final year. And he was supposed to take up the final year project. As part of the project, everyone was sharing their project thesis and they have to submit to the professor. And this man stood up in the class and said, sir, my project thesis title is Overnight Courier into the private sector. This is what is the area which I want to choose. Then everybody laughed in the classroom, including professor. They did not accept this proposal. Professor said, if you are going to take up that, I'm going to fail you. This boy said, no, it's fine. I'm going to go with that proposal only. I'm going with that. He could not able to pass. However, this man came out of that and he started a overnight courier, right? So that time everybody laughed. Why? Because that time UPS, like a United Postal Services in US, it is still exists, and they used to take care of these parcels, and courier means government postal services. There is no private courier at that point of time. That is why everybody laughed and nobody has agreed for this. However, this man thought, I need to start a courier service, that too in the private sector, and still I can make money out of it. He came out of this whole process and he started, and today is one of the world's best and maybe the strongest and the biggest courier company. That into overnight concept has brought in very clearly, and he made a revolution. Can you guess what is the name of the company? Can you guess what is the name of the company? Can you guess what is the name of the courier company? Any guess? It is one of the largest private courier company or the parcel company. Hello? Cargo. Yeah, I think give a big hand to Raghunath Vishnu Botla, right? I think FedEx. Give a big hand, please. I think clap for the Vaisali, Vilasini and Saga. I think Raghunath, both of them are right. Yeah, great. So this is the FedEx, right? I think FedEx is one of the largest courier company. It has come out as a student product, but today FedEx created a history. Let me share another example, because you are all engineers and you would appreciate this as well. There is a person named Arthur Fry. I think he used to sing in the bathroom, and he used to hide. I think in the bathroom, he's not a great singer. He used to take inside the paper and he used to the lyrics he used to write, and he used to sing. All through when he was taking baths, and the water used to spill over, right? This was the problem. Then he thought, let me do something for this. Let me fix this problem. What he has taken, the paper and took the little gum and pasted on top of the paper and pasted in on the wall, and he used to sing happily. So then he thought the same problem must be there across the world. The people have this kind of requirement. Then he created a small product called Post-it. I think you see the small Post-it, the yellow Post-it, where the gum is there. You can paste it on your walls, or you can paste it to the cupboards and so on, right? I think this is a product made by Arthur Fry, and he created out of his own simple problem, and it was patented, and he got a huge money out of it, and today is a world famous product. Very small ideas could actually make such a bigger impact. Look at another person. I'm going to tell the story, and you need to tell which company it is. Bill Bowman, like all of us, he is a biology teacher, right? I think, but though he's a biology teacher, he used to love entrepreneurship more. He used to love sports more than biology, right? So over a period of time, he became a trainer, he became a coach, he became an innovator, he became an inventor, he became a brand builder, and he became a more successful businessman. And most of you must be jogging with him. See the words which I am using. Most of you must be jogging with him, or walking with him, or running with him. And most of you must be already wearing that as well. I don't know, right? So can you guess what is this company is all about, and what is the company brand name, and can you guess how much impact it has created? I'm going to see the YouTube. What about guys? I think if you have any other queries, you can ask later. I think, yeah, give a big hand to Shashi. Give a big hand to Shashi. I think Nike is the answer. Bill Bowman is the founder of Nike, but he is a biology teacher. He's a great brand builder. He's a great ambassador. I think he's innovator. The word jogging, which we are using today, is actually the word jogging is being coined by, it is not English word, is coined by Bill Bowman. And we are today freely, we are using that word jogging, right? So this is what is the Nike. Tulasi, yes, yeah, you are right. That Nike is the right answer, right? So let's look at some other example before I close. I have another 10 minutes time. So let me take, yeah, you all can listen to this. He lost his job. He got defeated for the legislature, started business and failed. Wife died of fatal disease, experienced a nervous breakdown, contested in election for a speaker and legislature and lost, tried for a nomination in a political party and lost, applied for post of land officer and did not get it, contested for Senate and lost it, contested for vice president and lost it, again contested for Senate and lost. Finally, after 2 years, he became a president of America. My dear boys and girls, I think failures is not the calibration, right? I think you experience failures. How many failures Abraham Lincoln was gone through in his life itself? Almost 11 plus. Still, he's the president of America. The current president-elect Biden, right? I think you see his wife died and daughter died, and his son was into the different problem, and he has gone through some medical issue, but still at the age of 78 years today, Biden became a president-elect and is one of the powerful presidents of current times. So sometimes even if you have some defeats in your life, don't worry, and there is a one day where you can really look at. So since you're all engineers, I put together a few innovations of the current times, a few startups who have actually really made a wonderful breakthrough. I'll just share a few examples so that you appreciate. This company is based out of Bihar, and it is by students like you, the third year students of engineering students who are working with various schools, various colleges in US as well in India, started a company called Husk Power Systems. Husk Power Systems. You know, husk means it is the outer layer of the rice which we will take out, right? I think the barn, after barn, I think we'll get that husk. So this husk contains a lot of silica, and it is actually not a biodegradable material. And it becomes a huge humps in Bihar, especially in Bihar alone. 1.8 billion kilograms of husk is produced every year, and it becomes a useless. And these boys thought, can't we use this husk for something else so that it doesn't become a burden to the earth? What, after so many experimentation, they created a husk power systems. Using husk, they are generating energy, and that energy is given and creating a small microgrids, and that energy is being distributed to local villages. This is how they started, and $2 with the $2, if someone pays, probably I think they'll get a one bulb in the night from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and a mobile recharge full night 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and also they'll get a little bit of 2-watt bulb based on extra price. This is how they started a small business, and today Husk Power Systems, started by Ganesh Pandya and a few other friends, became one of the best innovations. Ganesh Pandya did his MS from US and returned back to Bihar again, and some of his classmates based out of Bihar together started Husk Power Systems. You can go to Husk Power Systems and Google it, and you will see the wonderful innovations they are doing. And people like you started this huge impact. I'm not going through these slides at this stage because we have a very less time. And my channel is there. I think some of the other stories you could go through. Ravi Saripalli, if you type in Google, probably you can subscribe to those channels, and those are already there. I'll just give you a couple of case studies, and then I think if we have time, I think we can take a couple of questions. So this is the case study you need to give an answer. This is the case study developed by one US-based company. They work. This is the design company. What I think most of your mechanical engineers and other technical students available in this forum, probably I think some of them can answer. Accessing clean water in rural India is very tough even today, right? Some of the places like Rajasthan and the Gujarat, and where this desert is very heavy, right? So the people who are actually going for the water and so on, they are going through multiple problems. A particular village almost 150 kilometers from Mumbai is an ardent task, I think ardent journey every day, 3 kilometers. These women and girl child have to travel to bring this water for their livelihood, and they keep these tumblers on their top of the head and walk for 3 hours and continuously. Because of this problem, they get this over posture and so on. They get these muscle problems and spinal issues and these sciatic nerves issues and so on. And this is what actually the problem which they are facing. So then a company thought this is not only a technical issue. This is actually a social issue. Then they created a solution out of it. Can you guess what is the solution they created? What could be the answer for this problem? Any ideas you have? Only 1 minute time I think we have. You can just share. Yeah, can you guess what is the solution for this kind of when people are taking this water on the head, the tumblers, and they are moving for almost 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, and only women were actually employed in this, and they are not going to the schools, colleges, and so on, and they are left and they are going through this pain of the spinal cords and so on. What would be the solution for this? Any guess? Okay. I'll just wait for half a minute and see if there are no response. I'll give the answer. I'll show the photograph. You would be really surprised. Engineers have to really think in that direction. Engineers have to invent such a wonderful things. Guys, any solution is right or wrong, doesn't matter. Any solution, any thoughts you have. What could be the solution from your side? Suppose you are digging borewells, right? Okay. Trolleys for carrying pots. Absolutely. Raghunath. Give a big hand to Raghunath again. I think water motors. Yes. Okay. Raghunath, I think, is almost right. See the kind of picture. Yes. So Raghunath is almost closer. This is the solution they created. See the kind of solution. They created a water wheel. The wheel, initially, they started with a 10 liters wheel. They went to the 20 liters. So finally, they settled down to 50 liters because to and fro going here and there is not a good solution. And they use the high quality plastic so that it can withstand the rough terrain as well. Price range is between $25 to $30. And the most exciting thing is earlier, women, the tumbler means women has to carry on the head. Men used to feel like, okay, men chavism used to come out. They used to feel, no, it is not my job. It's a woman's job. But when it became a trolley kind of thing, men were saying, no, it is not a woman's job. We have to do it. So men used to bring this water and it became a social equilibrium completely. And women started freeing up their time and these girls started going to the school. So the kind of one simple cultural product, right, could able to create such a bigger impact. So that is what innovation is all about. This is another case study. Personally, I'm working with my students and I'll share the IP patent and so on. I don't worry about whether patent is lost or not. But this is what is the product which we are working. Still, we are in we are encountering a problem. But still, let me share it. So, as you know that you all, I think when you boys, I'm not sure, but we generally use this razor every day, right? So, whenever we take this shaving, right, you see the handle part, we have the handle and the blade will be embedded to that. After some time, after 10-15 days, blade becomes blurred and immediately we throw off the blade, but not the handle. We replace with another cartridge. I think another blade we insert and use it. So handle used to stay for almost 4 months, 5 months, 1 year, so and so, right? So then you look at from a brush point of view. Every day we brush. It's all plastic brush, right? All brush we use it and immediately we throw off. We are not throwing off only the bristles part. We are throwing the entire brush itself. This is what we thought, something we need to do for the brush. Then we understood that the brush alone is actually creating a huge problem. Almost 3 billion brushes are thrown every month across this world, and it is increasing, the piling up. And the plastic, you know that the recycling capability is almost zero, right? So then we thought, why not use the same razor concept in the brush? Then we created a bamboo brush, right? Bamboo is the handle, and the bristles part we can plug and play. The top part we can plug and play. The bristles, right? I think we use that the bristles which we use, we actually manually inserted. From biswas and from neem and from banyan, we culled out many trees and we made them a very sharp, thin hairs, and the bristles we implanted and we started brushing. However, unfortunately, for next day, the bristles used to become hard. Then we approached a company and together, a Hyderabad-based company only, we are working right now to soften the bristles so that the bristles can be become very soft like a brush, so that this brush can become a plug and play. And it is a herbal brush because the bristles are made of neem, miswak and so on. Bamboo, green HG brush, like a HG pencil and so on, right? HG brush. So everything is herbal, everything is green, and the bristles can be removed off. And this can be put into the airlines, or it can be into hotels, or you can take it up and regular brushing and so on. It becomes a huge business model. We started this with the students, and we are working towards this problem. Last few years, we have been doing a lot of designs. We studied market. So this is called design thinking. Whenever we see the design thinking in our course, regular course, this is the process which someone has to go through. It's a huge market in India as well as in abroad. We went through multiple phases, and we are at a final stage. We created a lot of designs, we filed patent, I think, so a lot of process. And this is the brush which I was talking about, we created and so on, right? So sometimes such a simple ideas can actually become a wonderful product, and maybe can also create a huge impact. What I would do now is, I'm not going through other case studies because it becomes we have very less time. I think I'll just see if there is anything important. Otherwise, I'll just go for questions. So I think yeah. So I have another 30-40 slides, but I'm not going with the slides right now. What I will do is we have another 6 minutes time. I don't want to waste your time for the next 6 minutes. So if right, okay. What we all can do is, if at all, if there are any questions, you can post it. Some of these, yeah, sir, we can combine. Yes, we did it. We combined with the neem, we combined with miswa, we combined with the kagu. I think in the AP and Telangana we use this kagu kullalu, right? I think that is what we combined. We can do multiple things. Yes. So Lucy Pro 29. I don't know the name of the person, but I think exactly we did it. So this is a small idea, small inspiration can actually make such a wonderful impact. If you have any questions for next 6 minutes or next 5 minutes, we will take it up. Or probably what you can also do is, this is my blog, and it is my chat box. A lot of colleges from Hyderabad and Vizag and so many other places, the students are joining this blog. You can join us, or this Telegram app also can be used. What you can do is, every day what I'm trying to do is, I'm creating a small story. The story is embedded with a small inspiration and one idea, and one small analysis around the idea. That we are pumping it to the students. People can read them, and if some ideas come out, probably if you can pursue it as a one great entrepreneurial idea or probably invention and so on, then I think we can actually make a wonderful creative products out of it. If you are interested, you can join this Telegram app, and that is already given in the chat box. And let's all together move this inspire to innovate storytelling movement to the new heights and become a true inventor, true entrepreneur, true entrepreneur. Probably I think a true innovator. Right? I think that is what is my request, my humble plea to all the students who joined. Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. I'm sure I think some problems are there. Definitely I think with this voice and so on. If it is a direct meet, probably I think we could have solved those problems. Anyway, it is a channel, since it is there is a lag. Always the channels will have this lag. Definitely, I think you can go through the recording in case the recording comes well, and let's join together. Let's develop this inspire to innovate storytelling movement to the new heights. Thank you so much, Matrasi Engineering College, for giving me these wonderful opportunities. Your students are really awesome. These guys have a great future. The next 4 years, we need to really create at least if 5 to 10 people out of these 104 students become a true innovators or true entrepreneurs or true inspirers. I think this session is achieved something big. If there is any mentorship required, you come back, you can post it in my Telegram, or you can, my number is, my WhatsApp number also I will give you at a later stage. So you can contact me anytime at free time. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and joining us, for giving your experience, sharing your experience. And I think people or students really got motivated by your innovative, new, novel method of storytelling regarding entrepreneurship and innovation. were examples like maintenance of aircraft, like that is volume 1 and volume 2. I think really it was very interesting. The students would have got really motivated. I look forward that some of our students really turn up into good entrepreneurs with ethical values. Thank you, sir. We look forward.
Yeah.
We look forward for this kind of acquisition in future also on a continuous basis.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We will together drive this show, and definitely I think some of the bright students can take up this mission, and I'm sure Matrasri will have a go to the new heights with this inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Vishnu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can conclude, man. Vishnu?
Okay, sir. Shall I stop it, sir?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Okay,
Right,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.